Every civilization, every society, every country, company goes through these phases. First, you have the prophet. He's the founder. You have the founding fathers, right? Hey, we're going to go out there and there's no way we're going to pay taxes on taxation without represent. Shit, okay. These guys are not wanting to pay taxes. Yeah, we're not going to. They can't do that to us. All right. Then they inspire barbarians.
Is there a political solution to the problems that beset us?
What are you going to do if you're not involved? How are you going to be able to make direct impact? You can talk about all this stuff all you want. If you're not on the inside to see what's really going on, then what are you going to do? Here's what I noticed that's going on. So we're at a family Goldman Sachs event in Chicago last week, and they bring these 60 billionaire families. It was actually a very interesting thing to go because it's generational wealth to see how other families have done it. So the Crown family guy, Keating, is talking. He says, you know, in our family, I'm fourth generation. I'm the oldest G4, and G4 means fourth generation kid. He's a 47-year-old G4, okay? His daughter is a 12-year-old who's the oldest G5 at a 150. Okay, so you got a oldest G4, oldest G5. Now G5 is 150 kids, grandkids. So imagine 150 kids that are coming from a billionaire family. You're like, how much of that's coming to me? What do I need? It's kind of complicated to how to use that, right? Okay, so watch this. So then the next guy comes up and is breaking down the numbers saying, do you know what percentage of wealthy families' money makes it to second generation G2? 31%. Do you know what percentage makes it to G3? 12%. Do you know what percentage makes it to G4? 3%. So wow. 31, 12, 3 to G4. What is it to G5, G6, G7? Okay, so where am I going with this? America is a family, is a company, right? And it started off with the wealth that's been created. And now we got G1, G2, G3, G4, whatever it is today, G20, G30, G40, we're on a different G, right? And except now, it's like a super wealthy family. Let's put a net worth of $32 trillion or $30 trillion minus all the credit card debt that we have. That's another $32 trillion. And we got a top line revenue of say $4 trillion, whatever our GDP that we're doing per year, no problem. So you break this down and you're trying to get that money. It was like, hey, what am I going to get? How'd you forget about me? I did this. You owe me this much money. Oh, shit, we got to make this guy. We got to make that guy. We got to make this guy. The way it's going, it's catastrophic on what's going to happen money-wise here very soon with the next generation that are entitled on what you're going to give to them next. Okay. So many times, just like when you look at people that should have more kids, don't. The people that don't have the resources, are not teaching the values, are not that responsible, are not the examples of a good citizen to duplicate other kids. They're having 7, 8, 9 kids. And so we're duplicating the wrong habits at a pace faster than duplicating the right habits. Eventually, what ends up happening is people that are not qualified to run a job do so, and they have control over you and I. I think it was Plato that said it.
Oh, I've noticed.
Those who think it's foolish to study politics will be governed by fools who do.
That's right.
Those who think it's foolish to study politics will be governed by fools who do. Okay. If guys who have the mouthpiece, debate, history, argument, if those guys who should consider running don't run, fools will.
Problem is, it's hard to fix that. The generational, I mean, I actually grew up in a family like this, G5 or whatever, and like you look around and everybody's kind of not impressive and self-hating and not productive and increasingly not rich at all and drinking too much and decadent and filled with all kinds of angst and all that. Like generational wealth does not, I've almost never seen it work. So like, what's the answer to that?
Well, I don't think the answer is sitting on the sidelines and having them keep getting more and more
But that
power
is you just described the problem of the country.
Right.
I'm not attacking the Crown family or the Goldman Sachs family, so I wonder how screwed up the G5 is, and all those families pretty screwed up.
Of course it is.
Like big time.
No question about it.
So what happens in families happens at scale. It happens in countries.
For sure, but also at the same time, when you go and study Lawrence Miller's book, Barbarians to Bureaucrats, he talks about every civilization, every society, every country, company goes through these phases. First, you have the prophet. He's the founder. You have the founding fathers, right? Hey, we're going to go out there and there's no way we're going to pay taxes on taxation without represent. Shit, okay, these guys are not wanting to pay taxes. Yeah, we're not going to, they can't do that to us. All right. Then they inspire barbarians. Okay. So Jobs inspired barbarians. Musk inspires barbarians. Sometimes the prophet is a barbarian. Musk is both, right? Jobs is both. Our founding fathers, many of them were both. So you got prophet, barbarian, builders, explorers, then you have administrators.
Oh, yes.
Then you have aristocrats, bureaucrats. Then comes the downfall. Company, family, legacy, G4, G5, it's done. And the only way at this point that you can save that civilization, that society, that company, is for a synergist that comes in and is able to rally enough of the people to say, here's what we're going to be doing. He's not trying to rally the aristocrats. He's not trying to rally the bureaucrats. You're not going to get those guys. Those guys got to get fired. He's trying to rally the builders, the explorers, the guys that are saying, hey, man, I just want to kind of go out there and build my business. I feel we're at an era right now, we're at a phase right now where the synergists need to say, you know what? I feel like I can play the role for this. Great. Let's roll. I think these guys need to right now either be recruited, they need to be inspired, they need to have people that come to them and have a conversation saying, hey, I think you need to consider, we got 5 of us here. We came here for one reason. We're thinking about talking to you about 2028. Not interested, not this, not saying these conversations are not happening. Of course, they're happening behind closed doors regularly. But I think these guys, if America's worth saving, if the concept of saving America is something that we value, we need to either choose, if we can, contribute kind of like you, or we need to inspire and recruit and get others to say, I think you ought to consider doing this. Are you willing to go all the way to the point where you would consider a 2028 run as a president?
I believe in using the gifts that God gave you. And I think putting people in the wrong jobs or the wrong marriages or the wrong schools is counterproductive. In fact, it's a sin. I think we're all born for something and you should figure out what that is and you should do it. 2 of my dogs can find any bird on any path in any field or forest in America. They will find the bird. They do not do my taxes because they're not born to do my taxes. They're born to find birds. And I feel that way about myself and everyone around me. Do what you're born to do. And I just don't see myself as a political person. My only goal is to be free, personally free. I really believe in personal liberation, like tell the truth. That's liberation about yourself primarily, but also about the world around you. And my second goal is to preserve the country that I grew up in to the extent that I can. I mean, recognizing that my powers are really limited. Never been that interested in money at all. And I'm not interested in building large organizations or administering them. I'm not good at that. And I just want to tell the truth. And I'm absolutely willing, especially now that I'm 55, like who cares? You're looking at a future of what, like Parkinson's? Like really? At a certain age, you're like, I see these old people, including a lot of old people in power who are like trying to squeeze out another year. It's like, accept your mortality, please. Spend some time with people you love and who love you, your children, your grandchildren, your wife. None of them want to accept the finite nature of life. So I do accept that. And so I just want to do whatever I can to achieve those 2 goals, to remain free and honest inside and to preserve the country that I really love. Like I loved growing up here and so have previous generations of my family and I hope subsequent generations. So that's kind of it. I have always had low bore goals. I don't have any grand plan for world domination. I can't even dominate my town, but I would do anything to do that. Anything.
So you would consider 2028 run?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be very good at it, but I would do whatever I could to help. I want to be helpful.
Right.
And that is the motto of my family, actually. Inside my wedding ring, it says, forever your helper. And my wife says that too, because I believe in helping. I think that's our duty as Christians. It's our duty as people. It's the most fulfilling thing you can do is just to help in some small way. You're never going to figure it out. You're never going to fix everything because you're not God. To repeat, you're not God. But you can make incremental progress and you should never stop trying. So would you?